just working through some lineup possibilities. Masanosuke Ono, he could wrestle at 125. He could make the cut. He said that. He doesn't know if he's going to compete at 57 kilos, 61 or 65, which is the equivalent of 125, 133, 141, give or take roughly. Math is math, but those are those similar weight classes. So he could wrestle in any of the three of them. Ono, I think, best projects at 141, actually. He's never had to go through the constant weight cut week in, week out. So if he intends to be in the lineup his first season, then I think 41 would make the most sense for him. And you can redshirt Marcus Blaze. So then the lineup, Luke Lillidahl at 125, 133. Braden Davis is going to battle Aaron Nagel. Aaron Nagel's still there, unless there's some breaking transfer portal news that I have missed as far as Penn State wrestlers go. I know they've had somewhat of an exodus. Alex Facundo, AJ Friccione, David Evans, guys that are leaving, but there's no clear outlook for them. People jump to and say, "Oh, Braden Davis is going to go into the portal. The Mirasola twins are going to go into the portal." That anybody, they just name anybody simply for the sake of the competition. The difference between the likes of an Alex Facundo or a David Evans is that they're running out of eligibility. They don't have the time anymore, and they're not in a battle for the starting spot either. It's over with. Alex Facundo had his opportunity, unfortunately lost to Tyler Kasak. Can't bump up to 65 because Mitchell Messenbrink's there. Can't bump up to 74 because Levi Haynes is there presently. And with the amount of eligibility you have left, go use it somewhere else. That's the best thing for you. And also you have the increase in scholarships. So some wrestlers have an opportunity to go get a scholarship somewhere else. Some wrestlers might not necessarily have that. So if you can get into the Penn State mat room, why not train with the best of the best when your circumstances don't change? Other programs maybe don't get to 30 scholarships, but maybe they go to 12. Maybe they go to 15. And then it's not so risky when you go and you transfer and you end up at a different destination. You can get that scholarship that wasn't always readily available, if that makes sense, because you had your lineup, and then you don't have to take as much of a risk that if it doesn't work out, however, you do have a scholarship, at least you have some insurance. And just because somebody goes into the transfer portal doesn't mean that they are necessarily leaving. I think at the very minimum, these guys deserve an opportunity to explore their options. They absolutely should explore their options. So go into the transfer portal, talk to coaches, talk to other programs, and go from there. At the end of the day, everybody is going to follow their best interests. All right, back to the lineup. I talked about lineup, but Braden Davis and Aaron Nagel at 133. Ono makes sense at 141. He really does. He could wrestle at 133. You could bump up Braden Davis. You could redshirt them. You can redshirt Marcus Blaze. Penn State has options that other wrestlers that are currently in the portal do not necessarily have at this present time. Shane Van Ness, I think, is a lock at 149. 157, Tyler Kasak, national title contender. Shane Van Ness, national title contender. Mitchell Messenbrink, national title favorite at 165. He's not going anywhere until he graduates. Levi Haynes, national title favorite, now at 174. I think that's safe to say. Contender this past season, favorite now at 74. With everybody moving on, Dean Hamady, Keegan O'Toole, 74 opens up. 84, I've seen the rumors that Levi Haynes is going to go to Oklahoma State, that he's going to be the surprise one. Actually, that's what everybody's saying. Oh, it's not Zach Ryder. It's not going to be anybody else. It's actually going to be Levi Haynes, which does not make any sense at all. I know that, yes, Levi Haynes, David Taylor's his mentor, the M2 training for the longest time through his development. Levi Haynes is in the final year of his education. To uproot his life for one season, to go all the way to the middle of the country, to Stillwater, Oklahoma, I do not think is in his best interest. It is not in his best interest. He is Pennsylvania born and raised. He's from Central Pennsylvania. He's been connected to Penn State for the longest time, with or without David Taylor. He's not going to jump in the portal for one final season when he's been a national champion at Penn State. 84, Zach Ryder and Rocco Welsh in a competition. That's the simple answer of it. 97, Josh Barr, national runner-up. I don't think you need to make a change there at 97. And then heavyweight, Cole Mirasola, or if there is if Penn State if they don't think he's developmentally ready, then you could go with somebody in the portal, if somebody that fits a need at heavyweight. Because I don't think Cole Mirasola's far off, but it's still going to be an uphill battle because he's coming in he wrestling at the equivalent of give or take 210 pounds, 215 pounds. 97 kilos. And then he's making the jump to heavyweight to get to 250, 260, which is around where Greg Kirkfleet wrestled. He wrestled those matches against Ohio State and Illinois at 220 pounds, 225 pounds. So he's still got a ways to go. If he's not developmentally ready, Penn State might say, hey, you're going to learn on the fly. You're ready to go as a redshirt freshman. Heavyweight's a wait and see. That's a long process. Back into the comments section for one final time. Makes me wonder if recruits are going to start being hesitant to commit to these schools that are so willing to just recruit over you with whatever already proven guys are in the portal. I think that's the same thing. That's extended beyond wrestling. That's football, that's basketball. And yes, coaches, since everything is about winning now, which is why Iowa cashed out on the future and guys that gave everything to their program to go get a Stephen Buchanan, to go get a Ja'Cory Teamer, a Kyle Parko, and they're going to do it again and again and again because they are in win now mode. And a recruit that is coming out of high school is not as developmentally ready as someone who's been wrestling collegiately for 2 to 3 years. At this point in time, Jory Volk of Wyoming just jumped into the portal. That's a fringe title contender, I would say. Fringe title contender at 125. If I want to be overly optimistic, if I want to be pessimistic or be a little more conservative, he makes the podium. I think he makes the podium if he's fully healthy. I would like to think that some of these wrestlers want to stay closer to home so their families can come watch them. So part of it with Jax Forrest, interestingly, is I think his family is going to move out to Stillwater, Oklahoma with him. I read something somewhere, so don't quote me on that. But that was part of the appeal, is that his family gets to watch. So that's a big move to go from Pennsylvania all the way to Oklahoma. But his family's going to be there every step of the way for Jax Forrest. So that's a unique case, but that's, yes, family, friends, support, that stuff matters. Did Cael recruit Rocco, or did Rocco see an opportunity a la Bernie Truax? I mean, Rocco Welsh isn't a one and done. He has 3 more years of eligibility. I think that he wanted to be at Penn State all along. Pennsylvania native, families here, but there was not a scholarship. Now there's a scholarship for him. If Penn State has 20 scholarship opportunities, the room's only going to get stronger. It's only going to get better. I think some wrestlers are spoiled and believe that they should start all 4 years. Sometimes you have to sit a year and wait your turn. I mean, that's definitely been the case at Penn State. The Carter Starachi and Aaron Brooks are the exception, not the standard, because we don't see that all too often at Penn State. In some cases, but not every time. And that's why these recruiting classes understand it. Luke Lillidahl, an exception, but not Joe Seeley, not Zach Ryder, not the Mirasola twins, but they came in with that understanding. William Henkel, Asher Cunningham, Casey Cunningham's son, they came in with that understanding, or else if they didn't, they would have gone somewhere else.